Everyone, it's Amy and I'm back with part 3. I thought if I always started at the entrance to the art room, at some point you might get a gist of how it's set up. Because on the last video I did a long time ago, I had a few people saying I just don't understand how you get around in there. So as you come into my art room, on the right is my little table, stamps in front of us, and then we're going to turn, and I have a hallway this way. And to my left is my desk, which we will do that in a minute. We're going to go to the right. So this area over here, and I hope that the window's not going to wash it out. This is where I used to have my pottery wheel, and so I do have the floor, laminate on the floor there. So, but I haven't done any pottery since my mom got sick because it was something I could not do. And take care of her, because once you get messy, it takes a few minutes to get cleaned up. So that was something I had to put aside for a while, and eventually someday I'll pull it back out, just not now. But here to the right, as you walk in here, to the left I guess, this is a set of drawers that I have, and on the top I just have pretty stuff that I like to look at. The card that I just got from Doherty there, who is Miss Me Art on YouTube, and then just some more of the little jars that I make with pearls in them. And then in these drawers, in the top drawer, I have handmade stamps, and these are just made with the Fun Foam stick-on stuff. And this is one that I carved into with a pen. And then these are kids' blocks that you heat them up with your heat tool. And then you have something, you put something down on a flat surface, like this was a ball chain. You set it on a really flat surface, heat this up, and then press it onto there right away and let it sit till it cools. And these are just different, it's all the ball chain, just in different shapes. You can use all 4 sizes. Okay, these are just kids' foam blocks. And if you decide you don't like it, or after a while you're tired of it, heat it back up, it'll disappear, and you can put something else on there. So this one is puzzle pieces. And I just put the puzzle pieces on my desk, heated it up, and then pressed it onto the puzzle pieces. So we love puzzles here too. Originally I couldn't find the kids' foam blocks, so I found this little foam puzzle. And this I pressed into a heavy stencil that I had. So, and you know, the raised part stamps for you. This one is like stars. So those are really super easy to make. And there's just a bunch of different, oh, and these are the ones that Betsy Doodle showed us how to do. On the styrofoam insulation, you just carve into it. You basically just write with a pen, press hard, and where it dents, that will not show up when you go to stamp with it or paint with it. The next drawer is, I'm missing it, mini alphabets and some mini inks. So those are just my little mini alphabet stamps that you get them at Walmart for like $1. I got some in D-stashes. And then just my little small ink pads, and little tools and that type of thing, and all of my little roller type stamps are in there. Oops. And then the next one down is stickers, and these are more like the kids stickers for the kids to play with when they come over. And the next one is texture, and this one is always over full. This is just texture for painting, and all just different types of, you know, whatever it may be. This is drywall mud tape, and you know, pieces of the shelf liners, and those are coasters, and plastic doilies. This is a metal piece off the front of a cabinet that I had at one time and it fell off, so I use it for texture. A lot of the little baggies, that type of thing. So that's my texture drawer. Next one down is clear blocks. So these are the clear blocks for stamping. And my rollers, which actually, that drawer looks empty, but I just ordered a D-stash with the rollers in it because I've really been wanting rollers to use on my jelly plates. And then this is my Stamp-A-Ma-Jig. I haven't used this only a few times, but it works really good. I do like it. So that actually will be full shortly. This is foil, not the hot foil, but the one that just sticks to sticky stuff. I do have to say that I got some of this at a recycle store, and See if you can see it's got writing on it already. Where that writing is, that's where it's been peeled off. But you know, there's a lot extra, and wherever you have sticky, this will stick to it. So even in between those, where there's a little purple between those two L's, that will come off and stick to what you have that's sticky, and it's not going to look funky because whatever you have that's sticky will be covered with the purple. You know, don't think that once you start to use this kind of foil that if you've used a bit, you can't use it again. Use that until that whole area is clear. When that whole area is cleared, that spot is used up because it doesn't show up that way. Maybe if anybody wants to know what I'm talking about, if you ask, I'll do a little, show you what I mean on that. Because I've seen people, you know, like they constantly go to the next spot, the next spot, the next spot, but you're not using everything in that, you know, where you started. So these are just paper doilies. And they're just, I put the top one upside down so that they don't catch when I open the drawer. But there's just all sorts of paper doilies and plastic doilies and some transfer patterns from a garage sale that I got a long time ago. This one is transparencies, all different types of little transparencies that you can use in your books and that type of thing, and some acrylic pieces in a couple of acrylic books. And this is my Shape Boss, which is a machine that I got from, I actually bought some die cuts from a lady in a city next to us. And she had just this huge box of all sorts of stuff. So I wanted the die cuts, and the price was worth it for the die cuts, and everything else just came with it. So this is a Shape Boss, and the machine for it is over there, or it's kind of like a holder that you put these in, and then you rub across them, and they emboss these different little shapes and everything. You can use them for stencils. You know, now with embossing folders, we don't emboss so much by hand like that anymore. And then there's just a large set of alphas and a Martha Stewart like alpha where a letter, like a letterpress thing, that didn't fit anywhere else, so they went in there. And then the bottom two drawers are just office supplies. So okay, here on the floor, this is just a cassette holder, and at this, or DVD, not cassette, I just bought these and they're empty, and then I have the case to hold them. Right now I'm not using them, but I was thinking I have some where they have stamps and they have dies that match, and I thought about putting the clear stamps in here and the dies over here, you know, just on the same shelf, and then just number them, and that might be a good way to keep them. I don't know. This is just an empty box. Yes, I have an empty box. Can't believe that. And over here I just have a cart with, let's see here, projects I'm working on top. And then down under that is also another project that I'm working on. And then I just have some doilies and some fun foam that was big enough to keep and not throw away. Bottle cutter on the bottom, and a Rolodex that I'm not using at this time. And then over there in the corner, that's just a rounded corner. It's a rounded table. It's next to my pottery wheel, actually. And so that just has just pretties on it. And then I have my copy machine here with a ball that I made on top of it and just decorative behind there. That is, oh, let me stand up. That's a topiary that my oldest daughter made a couple years ago at Christmas that I think is pretty and I keep out all year round. And then here I have ties. Don't know why I have ties, but I just collected ties. I think they're pretty and I like the silk material, but I don't do anything with them. There's just a little hanging thing that I made. The beautiful bag that Sonia made for me. Picture that I did. And then here I have an old athletic apparel, it says, and so that just comes out on each side. So I just hang my belts on one side, a couple of gourds that I want to carve on the other, and then behind that are my aprons for my pottery wheel. And then I have old VHS cupboard right there with just little whatnots. There's little pom-poms, and those are shells. Those are VHS tapes that I still have a VHS so I can watch them. Grandpa used to record those for me when I was at work. And then I have marbles, and down underneath that is sun catchers. And then just a decorative table with my mist maker, and the other DVD or cassette thing with rocks and cotton balls and 365 things to do with your children. There's decorative sand. Under that is rocks. Again, I like rocks. And then underneath that is just some more, I think, bouncy balls or something like that. And then as we come around even more, I have 2 of these drawer units. On top of those, I have some ribbon holders that I purchased, some tins, a wire tree that I made, and then I have the ribbon holder that I made, and that has 4, I think, yep, 4 levels to that. I have my beautiful needle book that I just got, my top hat from Sonia, and these are buttons. I love anything Lazy Susan, because you take up a small amount of space for, you know, the amount of things that you get to put in there. And those are all buttons. These are little buttons on the top. Charms back here, and this is another unit that I made, again with the tissue paper and glue to cover it up, and I just put shelves in there and bought these little tiny containers to hold all of my charms. And on the other side I have another one of those. Had a little space left at the very top, so I just put some little boxes in there. There's some beads. This is a little turtle that I made out of the wrapped newspaper and an old electrical thing. Another Lazy Susan. Not as pretty as the other. I don't care for it because it's plastic, but it holds a lot of buttons. And so in a small amount of space, and they're pretty. I like to look at them. So that's the, you know, I put like the little doilies here, and, you know, I just like things to be pretty. In the drawer units, I have, we'll do this one first, and then I'm going to have to stop and start over because I'm almost out of time. I just have plastic bags and plastic bags. And then here I have birds and butterflies. These are just foam shapes. These are what I've been using to make my little, some of my little mini foam things. This is just fun foam in general. Any type of fun foam, large pieces, small pieces. The kind with the sticky back, the kind without the sticky back. And then here I have my paper collage drawer. And this is like, these are the security envelopes that come with the different colors inside. And any mail. This is mixed media bits that I have, different pieces of napkin and material and texture, and all different sorts of things like that that are just here ready to go. The next one is papers that I have made, some spirograph. This is a dryer sheet that was collaged on. I have my dendritic printing in there, some coffee filters. Just this was something I had sprayed and wiped off the top, or, you know, took the excess off with that. Just all different sorts. These are the transfer packing tape transfers. This is tissue paper transfers. And then these are, you know, paper towels. Other different papers that I have made. And different things off of the computer that I've copied. Dryer sheets to keep them flat. And then in the back I have an old book. And I have the shelf liner. So my camera ran out of time. So the next drawer down, we just did the paper collage. The next drawer down is vintage and Victorian. So this is just some of my older things, and the Victorian stuff is all, my sister got these at a closeout at a dollar store. I think she got them like 10 for $1. So there's just all sorts of little things that look very old-fashioned, and she just thought that I would like them, so she picked me up a whole bunch of them, and there's just all sorts of them in here. And little kids and just all sorts of things. And then behind that I have cards, you know, like the cards for your books and regular, you know, mailing cards that you mail out, and envelopes, and there's a deck of cards that I got at a garage sale. So just all sorts of different types of cards and everything that I may want to use the pictures off of. So that's what's in that drawer. And then in front of that sits another little box that I made, but I have not covered yet with the tissue paper. And this is just all, I can't pull the top one up because I have an eyelet setter in there. These are all just brads. So, and the one thing that I do like to try and do is this time when I went through, I tried to mark everything so that I knew what I was looking for. It just makes it so much easier. I have another one of them over here, and these are all my little tiny flowers, little tiny fabric flowers, and I have some in little cases like this. I just, these are like little soap dishes that I got at the dollar store, and that one still needs to be covered. Here I have one that I made, and these are all just little tiny flat back pearls, the really small ones, and the little flat back like gemstones. So those are there, and that one is done with the heating tape that's sticky. So, and then on the floor still over here, I have another one that I made. I had got these little containers at a garage sale. So these are full of basically material type. Like these are little material flowers. The others were material butterflies. These are material, oops, sorry. Can't even see it, material butterflies. So these are like material type embellishments that you would glue onto your projects. And then behind that is all of my sequins. So, and these are just pill bottles, which I thought I might decorate the top, but I haven't got around to it yet, and it really doesn't matter. It's nice to have little compartments. I love to keep things separated. And then these are my some more brads and a few eyelets. In the second set of drawers, in the top, I have adhesives, and these are some adhesives that I get from a recycle store that I have. So these are like double-sided dots, and these are double-sided sheets that are that large, and I just put them in baggies to keep them together. Double-sided squares. These are single-sided ovals, and so they're only sticky on one side, but they're clear. So, and then I have some large double-sided adhesive sheets on the bottom. The next one down is just things to alter, just butterflies and bells and hearts and things like that, or things to use in altered projects. The next one down is just miscellaneous. These are all magnets I got, 10 for $1. And then these are just some, they're little scoops, like measuring scoops, but I like to use them for mixed media to put down my different type of pastes and everything. This is just a spirograph that I've had since I was a little girl. And then underneath this is just a bunch of miscellaneous. I have rolled wallpaper borders, some hearts, and some compasses. And what I've done is, these are things that I do not use, these bottom few drawers, and I don't use them very often at all. So that's why they're behind the things that are stacked in front of them. I tried to put everything that I was going to use the most here where it was easy to get to. So down here I just have tapes for adding machines that I got at a secondhand store, and in the bottom drawer those are all just lights, like Christmas lights, that I use sometimes when I light my packaging, or when I light some of my artwork. But those ones I don't use too much anymore because they're the hot lights, and now that they've come out with LEDs that are not hot, I don't really see a point in using those. Okay, next to all of that, I have, these are my stencils, and this was my original storage idea for stencils, and it worked very well, and I do still use it. These are new ones in the front, so I just put them in the front here so that I can make them a file folder. And then the way that I've done this is they're all in little file folders, and then on the file folders I have marked what it is, and then I also have the actual stencil stenciled on the front of that file folder so that it's easy. You can say, oh, you know, what does that look like? That's butterfly. That's a butterfly mask, but what does that butterfly mask look like? That's what it looks like. So that makes it easy for when people come over and they want to use them. They know what it's going to look like when they use it. So I really found this a very handy way to do my stencils, and the nice thing about the folders is that way they don't get stuck together. Stencils are hard to store because they always want to get stuck to each other. And then in the back are my 12 by 12 stencils, and I don't have 12 by 12 folders, so I just keep them in their original packaging mostly. I'm not a big one for keeping stuff in its original packaging. I don't, you know, I want to use it and I want it easy to use. So I don't really care if it's in its original packaging. I just want it easy for me to use. So, and then here I have this little cabinet, and in this cabinet I have my polymer clay. On the top I have the actual clay, a couple of, what do you call it, rolling pins. This is a rolling pin to actually make Scotch bread cookies, and you roll it across there and it puts those patterns in it, but it also works really good for clay. So I have the clay on the top shelf, and then as we go down, sorry about that, I just got this at a 50% off coupon at Hobby Lobby, the lace one. I've been watching people use that, and that's so cool. I have my pasta machine back here, some little tiny things to make molds with. I have some plaster or earthenware molds, and then just things for texture and that type of thing. This is actually to make this is to make the rolled beads, but to make them out of clay. And then underneath that I have all of my different molds to do with polymer clay. And so I just have, and then here I have all of different polymer clay tools, polymer clay textures, and then at the very bottom the cutting tools, and then the more cutting tools like cookie cutters, but just smaller. So, and then I have over here, I just have a couple of my polymer clay books. So I do like to try and keep everything together, or at least in the same area. And on top of that, there's 5 wooden containers here that I got at a flea market. They slide into each other a little bit so that they don't come apart. And in here, I just keep what's left of my wood mount stamps. So, you know, it's like I kind of start originally somewhere and then I outgrow that system, so then I kind of make a new one. And then just decorative on top, I have my little Zen garden here that I made, and that just sits in a really pretty basket. And in this basket is where I keep my rubber gloves. So, and then we are back to the beginning. And I think that that's everything in this area. Oh, you're seeing my desk. You're not supposed to see my desk till later. But so this is just kind of a little quick overview of that area. And, you know, that's why I said this would be in 5 parts, because, you know, everything is kind of compartmentalized here. And then, you know, here is just a pretty little, where I keep my pretty tins, because I like to collect tins too, and boxes. So, yeah, so this is area number 3. And when I get this one all uploaded, I will be back with area number 4. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.